Hello there, everybody. I hope the music doesn't sound too bad. No, we're here. Hello there, everybody. I hope the music doesn't sound too bad. No, we're here. All right, so we're live on YouTube. This is our first live, people, so please bear with me. Let's see what I can see here. This production is brought to you by Coaching Solutions YouTube. This is our first live, people, so please bear with me. Let's see what I can see. Brought to you by Coaching Solutions YouTube. This is our first live, people, so please bear with me. See what I can see. YouTube. This is our first live, people, so please bear with me. See what I can see. First live, as you see. First live, So here we are, good people. This live is brought to you by Mzizi4Life Coaching Solutions. And I'm not sure what's going on the YouTube side. I guess I'll have to find out once I log out. But I'm here. People, this live is brought to you by Mzizi4Life Coaching Solutions. And I'm not sure what's going on the YouTube side. I guess I'll have to find out once I log out. This live is brought to you by Mzizi4Life Coaching Solutions. And I'm not sure what's going on the YouTube side. I guess I'll have to find out once I log out. But what I'm going to do since I'm logged in is just have fun. You can't get started without having, yourself a good drink. So I got my Organifi green here. Mix up a little Organifi green. Logged in is just have to set the mood. Started without having, yourself. I got a little agave in here. Organifi green here. Mix up a little Organifi green. See, set this down. Got a little water. H2O. Never hurt anybody. I got a little agave here. Pour it on up. Organifi green. Let me see. I'm trying to get it so y'all can see the logo. H2O. Never hurt anybody. Here we go. Got the Organifi green. Mix it on up. Shake it up real good. Here we go. Got the Organifi green. Take a swig for a little healthy aging and longevity. Here's to life, good health, and hopefully fortune. And fortune, I'm gonna be definite about it. Take a swig for a little healthy aging and longevity. Here's to life, that was good. So, among a lot of other things, I am your Organifi juice distributor. You can get your Organifi juice, green and gold, right here with Mzizi4Life Coaching Solutions. And I am the experiential one, also known as Eddie Osho, also known as the mindful moderator, also known as James, to my mom. And here tonight, what we are doing is we are having a live related to the foundation for forgiveness. The foundation for forgiveness is 11 steps that can be considered in the process of forgiveness. So we're focused on forgiveness in the family tonight. As we move into the holiday season, we do not want to carry any bad intentions, the past, into our holiday interactions. We want to embrace all with love, happiness, and celebration. So what we're going to do is take a look at the 11 steps to forgiveness in the family, And so I just like to talk a little bit about my journey into life coaching, which started toward the end, I say, of 2020. With all that we had going on in 2020, I was introduced to life coaching, and I was introduced to life coaching in a period of grief. Thinking back, I've just had a few major losses, a lot of major losses in my lifetime, but there were 4 specifically that really affected me deeply on an emotional and psychological level. I lost a brother, I lost a son, I lost my father, and then I lost my grandfather in 2020. And his death was one that I always questioned whether or not I would be able to withstand or withhold my sanity and find some bit of stability after he was gone. And it was a rough period for me without everything else that was going on in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, the political upheaval, the George Floyd resistance, the way I was able to remain grounded was through my introduction to life coaching. A former supervisor introduced me to life coaching, and she started her own life coaching business. And everybody who had ever worked for her, she gave us the opportunity to participate in a class. She had gotten her license through the International Coaching Federation. And so I signed up for the class. I said, hey, let me keep myself busy. And once I got the certification, I just started searching around online, and I started following a few people. I just want to take this opportunity to acknowledge some of the people who I began to follow, who are the foundation for my understanding of life coaching. I want to give a shout out to, of course, Iyanla Vanzant, the great Iyanla Vanzant, Lisa Nichols, Elena Cardone, Stormy Wellington. Then we got the guys, Elliot Connie. I call him the GOAT in regards to social media and therapeutic interventions. Les Brown, Ben X, Grant Cardone, John Lee, Tony Robbins. The list goes on and on. So I was watching these guys, and I was just thinking about, you know, my grandfather and his areas of interest. He was a preacher, you know, Church of God in Christ preacher, always interested in engaging with the community, thinking of ways to carry the good news to people. And I just thought, I was like, man, if my grandfather had a hold of social media, this would be something he would be into. And so I went about creating Mzizi4Life. And if you are new to this channel, Mzizi means the root in Swahili. So we are taking a values-driven and experiential approach to life coaching. I call myself the experiential one because every behavioral health professional has a theoretical approach to working with individuals and creating healing. And so I'm into experiential interventions, those interventions that involve the client and empower the client and involve the client in regards to the five senses. What you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you smell, and what you can feel. So the experiential approach and experiential learning is the approach of Mzizi4Life Coaching Solutions. And it's values driven because there is a theory out there which says that people are not going to change if it's not something that they don't value in the inner recesses of their hearts. And so it's values driven and experiential. And so tonight, what we're going to do is take a look at the foundation for forgiveness. Now, I focused on forgiveness because I've had some really interesting conversations with other mental health professionals, life coaches, clients, other individuals in other industries, and forgiveness was a reoccurring theme, 2021, 2022. And so, of course, you know, online course creation is a big thing now. And so I said, what would be the first course I could create? And so, boom, I said, why not forgiveness? And so hopefully someone will be able to talk about the creative downloads. That's information and guidance that I get as a creator. My forgiveness just came to me, and I'd say, you know, I'm grateful to God because it's definitely a provision of the good Lord that gave me these 11 steps. And so we're going to take a look at those tonight as tools to be able to celebrate the holidays with family and friends with a clean heart, clean mind. So here we go. All right, so the agenda is we usually have class introductions because this is the first time I'm ever doing it on the live, but normally this is a course, and so there will be other individuals involved, and we will do the class introductions. We are going to have a course overview. And then in that process, afterwards, you'll be able to look at the steps to developing your experiential action plan. I'm going to be open to taking some steps and suggestions, so you be ready to use the comments. We're going to have a little question and answer, and then talk about some of the steps that we can involve ourselves in until the next time we meet. To developing your experiential action plan. All right, so the goal tonight is, number one, to create new meaning. That is one of the outcomes of effective experiential learning, is that you are able to create new meaning from past experiences. We are going to reinvent the wheel, because we're going to look at some old interventions and figure out new ways to apply them to our daily interactions, our future interactions, and resolve any harm that occurred in past interactions. But the third and most important goal is healing. Inner healing, interpersonal healing, healing in our homes, healing in our hearts, healing in our communities. So moving on to the objectives, what we want to achieve is improve awareness of the self. We're going to debunk some of the myths and mysteries around life coaching, self-change, self-exploration, self-development, and most importantly, to increase control of the self and control of ourselves in situations around and outside of us. And so the only materials that you need tonight is an open mind, number one, an open heart, being able to listen and take in some new information. Please ignore the messenger. If we're having any technical difficulties, please do your best to try and ignore that. I apologize. But you might need a pen and paper if you are one of those individuals challenged with remembering things and you have to take notes like I do. I'm a chronic note taker. Have a pen and paper handy, or an electronic device in which you can record the information that you get. But most importantly, I want you to think about and take a commitment to application, how you are going to apply what you learn to future situations and future events and interactions with the people you might know and love, or even interact with on your jobs. Take a commitment to the application. All right, so as I mentioned, this course was developed as a result of a series of conversations with clients, community members, and other helping professionals. And what exactly is forgiveness? I call it an intentional softening of the heart, mind, and the soul as it relates to past harm which has occurred in our lives. If you got something else to add, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comments. But what does forgiveness mean to you when you think about what forgiveness is? All right, the benefits, of course, most importantly, is health and healing. I haven't done a whole lot of research on forgiveness, but I'm almost certain that the inability to forgive is at the source of a lot of the chronic health conditions that we experience, those migraine headaches, gastric and digestive discomfort, strokes, heart attack. All of it is a result of unresolved harm, unresolved pain. So that's the primary benefits. But the interpersonal healing, the freedom and the levity that it will give an individual once they can resolve past harm and past hurt, but interpersonal healing as well, improving the interactions with a person that can have with other people, and then also healing in the home, and resolving occupational stress and strain as well. Improving the interactions with a person that can have with other people, and then also healing in the home, and resolving occupational stress and strain as well. All right, so I think the next slide here is, where do I get started? So first, my approach to everything lately is just being mindful, getting calm, getting focused, and thinking about what your goals are, getting in tune with the self. And the best way to do that is find a space, in your home, get some of your favorite things around you, your favorite colors, favorite foods, and take some time to really begin to focus on self. I think this is an important time to consider where we get started when it comes to any level of self-improvement, because we're in the last 2 months of the year. In January, everybody takes or begins to make their New Year resolutions. And so it's a really important time, to get focused on self-improvement and making 2023 a better year than 2022 was. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm excited. So moving on to the development of your action plan. So where we get started. First and most important step is to consider the facts. I always summarize it and say, what happened, who was involved, who did it, most importantly, how did it made you feel? But lastly, you need to consider, are you ready to forgive? Is it something that you're ready to create a new story around? Are you really ready in a place where you're ready to resolve it? And so what I've done is incorporate a tool from 12-step programming, which is the inventory process. What you do in the consideration of the facts is take an inventory. There is a chart or a graph that has been prepared that you can utilize in this process. And what you do in that first column is you list every individual, every experience that hurt you, harmed you, and you go down that first list and you talk about how it made you feel. You identify who was involved, but most importantly, you have to take a look at whether or not you're ready to forgive and move on. Go down that first list and you talk about how it made you feel. You identify who was involved. Most importantly, you have to take a look at whether or not you're ready to forgive and move on. All right. Now, as you move forward, the most important thing to consider is, if you're going to proceed with this process, are you going to proceed with an open mind and a level of optimism about what the outcome or what your outcome could possibly be? Now, the outcome, of course, is feeling better, within is one, improved interpersonal relationships, more opportunity, with the barriers removed, with my defenses down, I can meet new people and have new and improved and enriched experiences. More opportunity with the barriers removed, with my defenses. Third step in the action plan is recognizing repeated patterns, the recognition of repeated patterns. Now, this requires a level of accountability, self-accountability. I have to hold myself accountable. Third step in the action plan is recognizing repeated patterns, the recognition of repeated patterns. Now, this requires a level of accountability. So I got a whole lot of background. Let me check on YouTube to see what's going on. I apologize. Recognizing patterns, the recognition